All right, all right. We are live across the board. I am seeing that, wow, look like we're on YouTube. We're on X. Very excited, very excited. We have Circle and the Offchain Labs team. We got Spencer Hughes, product manager, that is in the studio. Really looking forward to having this conversation. It should be a lot of fun, a lot of great insights. Circle and Arbitrum have been doing a lot of great work over the past few months, and there's so much to talk about. Really looking forward to bringing everybody on. Team, how's it going? How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Excited.
Great, great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, we are live as I mentioned. We've got an incredible crew here. I want to start off and just allow everybody to introduce themselves to the audience that's viewing in. Tell you what, Spencer, I will start with you.
Yeah, happy to hop in. So I'm Spencer. I'm a product manager at Offchain Labs, specifically focused on all things ecosystem, including Orbit chains, as well as a little bit of the Orbit SDK. Super excited to be here today.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Mauricio, talk to the folks.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. So, Maurizio Di Gianluca here. I'm a product manager at Circle. I focus on all things expansion to USDC to new networks, including also the Bridged USDC Standard, which we're going to be talking about today, which is super, super exciting.
Great, great. And finally, Ian.
Hey everyone, it's great to be here today. I'm Ian Lin, and I support the Programmable Wallet product at Circle.
Fantastic, fantastic. Look, once again, we have two very exciting announcements that have come out recently. Number one is that we're going to talk about the Bridge USDC standard that's come to Orbit chains, as well as Web3 services that is also available on Arbitrum, which is, we're already seeing a lot of adoption, a lot of activity around. And on that note, let's go ahead and dive into this. So, Spencer, I want to start off with you. You're our guest, and the reason why we're even here today. Arbitrum has a very strong developer base. In your opinion, my friend, what makes it so popular with developers and builders?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of factors that go into this. So you have Arbitrum One, which is the main rollup chain. We have Arbitrum Nova, which is a faster and cheaper chain that relies on AnyTrust for data availability. And then we have our broader Orbit chain offering, which allows any developer to come in, launch an Orbit chain with battle-tested technology to fit their use case. So one of the main factors that Arbitrum is really popular among the developer community has to be the fact that Arbitrum was the first rollup to hit mainnet a few years ago. So we combined the security of Ethereum, the decentralization, the censorship resistance, and we took that, added some really fast block times behind it and low transaction fees. And it kind of created this perfect sandbox environment for developers to really jump into the wild. On top of that, Arbitrum was the first rollup to have fraud proofs live. So that just gives it this extra tier of security that has taken a few years for other chains to catch up. But it's really great to see fraud proofs live across all kinds of different chains. So in starting with being the first rollup, we saw a lot of the blue chip DeFi protocols such as Uniswap and Aave deploy on the chain. So this brought a ton of liquidity into the ecosystem, and this liquidity is actually stuck around. So today, Arbitrum is the seventh largest chain by total value locked, and it's closing in on close to like $2.5 billion. So you have all this liquidity and all these users who just stay on Arbitrum. It solves half the battle for developers in sourcing those users. On top of that, we also have a robust
Wow.
grants program. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we also have a robust grants program, and you see this every year, like constantly. So right now we have the Stylus Sprint, which is a $2.5 million initiative to bootstrap Stylus development. And Stylus is one of our newest offerings, and it allows people to develop EVM equivalent smart contracts with Rust or any other language.
Wow. Look, I'm always learning something new. It seems like there's a lot going on. Let me ask you a question. Are there any, some like maybe exciting use cases or innovations that you're starting to see over the chains right now?
Yeah, definitely. So Orbit chains have really picked up a lot of traction over the past year. So I think by the end of the year, we'll probably have about 40 Orbit chains on mainnet. And these go from anything to RWAs to gaming to social experiences. So we have Zai and Proof of Play, which are both gaming focused Orbit chains, and they've gained a lot of traction over the past few months. On top of this, we're starting to see more consumer-focused chains pop up. So another example is Anime Chain, which is on the horizon. We don't know the exact launch date yet, but this is an attempt to kind of bring the more traditional like Web2 anime fan base on chain.
All right, you got me there with anime. Shout out to all my anime watchers out there. I'm super excited about that. You know what, Ian? What has the journey been like for Circle and Arbitrum over the past year?
Yeah, so I can start by sharing a bit of context of like the programmable wallet journey and then tie into our recent launch of Arbitrum 1 support. So programmable wallet, for those people who are not familiar, like you may have heard about embedded wallet, you may have heard about smart wallet or wallet as a service. Basically, it's a wallet platform that developers build to enable a seamless onboarding and transaction experience on the blockchain. So we launched our programmable wallet and broader Web3 services offering roughly about a year ago, and have seen like good adoption in the space. And about 2 months ago, we launched the support for Arbitrum 1. And like since then, we have seen about a fifth of our mainnet developers have already started building and launching on Arbitrum 1, which just shows that like there is indeed as what Spencer had mentioned, right? Like the value prop of like Arbitrum was like low gas fee, fast settlement, high throughput. Is resonating with developers, and we're really happy to see that like developers are taking advantage of this. We have actually 2 days ago just launched our signing APIs that enables developer to like actually take advantage of this like key management and signing on all EVM chains. And this would enable the capability of developers to build on like Arbitrum Nova and Arbitrum Orbits. So like in short is that we are seeing the developers massive developer like activity on the Arbitrum ecosystem, and we are like basically tailoring our platform to support all the different Arbitrum chains to meet where the developer is at.
Nice, nice, nice. Let me ask you this. How does the launch of programmable wallets fit into the broader vision and roadmap for Circle and Arbitrum? Ian, I go back to you on that one.
Okay. Yeah. So the vision of Circle is to actually bring the kind of like seamless like value transfer like to the world on the blockchain, right? So in a way that like when Circle started programmable wallets, the whole idea is that we're trying to identify where the friction point is in people holding and transacting USDC, and we realize that it's actually like the top of the funnel problem is that like when you don't have enough people having a seamless experience interacting on chain, there's no way that they can hold and transact USDC. So with that, we kicked off like programmable wallet and Web3 services, basically a suite of services that enable developers to build on blockchains, allowing them to build seamless experience, abstracting away the complexity of managing seed phrases, like abstracting away gas fees, which is like pretty foreign for the like internet users. And the like with programmable wallet, we are able to solve this problem and enable more developers, which will build use cases around USDC. So we believe that by lowering the friction and like improving the experience of people building on blockchain, we can accelerate the adoption of USDC and enable the frictionless movement of value.
Man, that sounds pretty good, man. Look, and I'll put this up to Ian, because I've been listening to what you just said here, and also Spencer as well. I mean, in my opinion, it seems like there has been a lot of tech and infra development, really over the past couple of years to increase the efficiency and programmability of delivering on-chain apps and solutions. Ian, Spencer, I mean, do you think that we're ready for the last mile mass adoption, or, in your honest opinion, do you think we're still missing to reach that? Now, give me your opinions. I want to put you on the spot. I'll go Spencer. Yeah, go ahead. You want to jump on that one?
I'll hop in. So I think we're really close. I think, Circle's Web3 services definitely is a huge step toward that. But I think the rest, at least from the Arbitrum perspective, probably falls on enabling interoperability between different chains. And this is something the DAO is really focused on. You can see some chain abstraction proposals popping up. So ideally, with all the unlock of Web3 services, but then you tack on the ability for someone to interact with any Orbit chain, Ethereum mainnet, any sort of rollup without even being aware that they're using that network or even having to like manually bridge. I think once that experience is enabled, then 100% we're ready. And we're seeing a lot of positive work toward this in the Ethereum ecosystem. You can see different standards like 7683 and then RIP 7755. And these are actually being actively discussed, at Ethereum core dev meetings. And once those are widely adopted, you stack that with Web3 services, and then, we just need some apps after that.
100%. I wrote that down. I wrote it down. Ian, let me get your thoughts.
All right. So I agree with what Spencer said, but I'm going to present a contrarian point of view here, just to balance it out a bit.
Go ahead, balance it out.
I don't think we are, but maybe we don't need to be ready for the mass adoption, right? Because the Web3 community likes to talk about the next billion users. Now, I feel like that's kind of like a very long-term vision. We may eventually get there, but I would be satisfied if we can carve out a few powerful use cases that people find value in day to day, even if it's just for millions of people, right? Like if you have 1 million users who are finding value in, say, for example, remittance, another million of merchant are actually doing like cross-border payments and they're getting a lot of value. I think that's pretty good. And like the mass adoption, sure. There are gaming companies. I know there are a lot of gaming companies building on Arbitrum Orbit, and they may have a larger user base. But I feel that one of the things I observed in this industry is that we have to be practical in thinking about the utility. And if you take an analogy of the internet, when internet started, when we're all using dial-ups, when we're kids, right? There isn't a whole lot of things on internet people are finding valuable. And at that point, I think, sure, there are people thinking about, okay, there would be billions of people on the internet, but the businesses are focused on solving very unique problems back then. And I think in Web3, it's same thing, is that we have to solve for the most important problem that people are finding value in their day-to-day lives. And this may not be the focus on solving the problem for a billion people, but really thinking deep about, well, why is blockchain value, but why are transferring value on the blockchain better than traditional finance rails? So yeah, in short, I feel that you need continued advancement in kind of the developer platform Web3 services that we have launched for a year, but there's still a long way to go for us to really kind of build out the solution that help developers enable use cases that they're getting value as opposed to exploratory, right? We have all seen projects in Web3 that are not really long-term sustainable. They get some early hype due to the tokenomics, but then fade out in the like after a few months. So that's something I like to see change. And secondly, like I think in terms of like the blockchain, still we talk to a lot of enterprises. Enterprises still are mindful of the cost of say for example the gas cost, which is quite foreign to them, like compared to using just cloud services and paying for like compute and storage. And I think like Arbitrum is positioned like really well in this space. But again, there's a fragmentation of like different chains. Like Spencer also mentioned, like interoperability. There's a lot of like fundamental infrastructure work that we need to focus on. But again, like without solving all those problems, I feel that like there are specific use cases that what we have right now may be able to solve really well for like 1 million or like up to like 10 million users. And we should focus on that, like not worry about like the mass adoption of like billions of people.
I gotta appreciate those answers from both sides. I mean, I think that especially to have product directors, product managers speaking on this gives me a lot of comfort because you both are pushing the boundaries and continuing to improve. And I personally love to hear that as a fan of innovation. Ian, I mean, kind of continuing, our discussion here in developing these wallets. Your team strongly believes, right, that this is a key piece that's missing to reach end users. So, can you maybe expand more on how Programmable Wallets is bridging that gap specifically?
Absolutely. So the problem of people coming on chain is that the onboarding experience has a lot of friction. Like I used to work on growth back at Instagram. I know that every step that you have as part of the onboarding experience is a chance that people could churn. And you think about traditional way of people like getting like starting to use like a blockchain. They have to install a browser extension. They have to write down their seed phrase. They have to go to some centralized exchange to on-ramp the token so that they have gas token to actually use on this chain. And then they have to go to like dexes, which they don't understand. And one wrong move will just like lose all of their asset. So it's a very scary place to be. That's on the onboarding side. And in terms of transaction, like now the people have onboarded and they need to transact. Like it shows them, like typically speaking with self-custody wallets, it shows them a bunch of information about gas and all these things that they don't understand. I mentioned earlier, they have to source these native tokens to actually start using like any decentralized app on blockchain. That's also pretty foreign, right? Like in comparison, everybody on internet is familiar with signing up like via an email, social logging, and then these like e-money wallet apps makes basically sets of standards. Like if you need to transfer value to one another, you don't have to pay any fees, right? You basically just specify someone else's email and say, hey, I'm going to send like $10 over, and they just connect to my bank account and send $10 to their Venmo account on the other end. That is a standard that we're competing against, and that is where the friction is at. Like if you think about people like using the Web3 application that's out there, there's a lot of friction point that's like preventing people from adopting and churning along the way. So where Programmable Wallet comes in is we try to solve for every single one of these problems. We're mindful of the onboarding experience. So we launch like, for example, like social login, like email, like OTP. We abstract away the gas fees so that when people use our use the application that our customer build, they can set up like gas stations to abstract away the gas fee through like the account abstraction ERC4337. These are type of things that we help make Web3 experience as close to Web2 as possible. But again, like as I mentioned earlier, right, like we still got more ways to go. And one of the things that we're thinking about next is that there's a lot of EVM chains, and like people have to worry about like, okay, if I have hold USDC on one chain, how do I spend on another chain? So there's a lot of development over the past few months around like chain abstraction, like cross-chain spend. These are type of things that we're actively looking into to see how we can further reduce that friction. So we're constantly looking at opportunities with like new ERCs. Can we further reduce the friction and make transacting on chain, like just like basically using a messaging app, right? You send a messages to one another. You don't have to worry about like copy and paste it a long string hash. You just like know people's handle, know people's email, send it to them without having to worry about sourcing the concept of native tokens. And you don't have to worry about like any of the chains. Like, okay, you are on Arbitrum. The recipient is on like Polygon, and you have to like worry about how to like bridge up across one chain to another.
Man, talk that talk, Ian. Talk that talk, Ian. Hey, you know what? I want to give a shout out to some of our viewers. Cletus, my buddy over there in the developer community, actually appeared on one of these. So I'm glad that you're enjoying the chat. Make sure to reshare this, retweet it. A lot of knowledge is being dropped here. You're getting to hear these fine folks really share their brain power. I'm lucky. I get to talk to these folks all the time, every day. But it's great to be able to share this. So yeah, thanks Cletus for chiming in. Maurizio, I know you're hanging out. I know you're enjoying this great conversation, but I want to go to you and put you on the spot now. Something that I'm really excited about, and it's actually kind of a perfect segue because I brought up Cletus. Cletus is a developer in the ecosystem that's been, him and VIA Labs have been very involved with our USDC bridge standards, huge advocates of it. So, let's talk about that, right? Very excited to talk about this. Maurizio, can you describe to the listeners, the developers out there in particular, what is the Bridged USDC Standard?
Yeah, for sure. And so the Bridged USDC Standard is effectively a process for deploying a bridged version of USDC that is upgradable to native in the future. That's the key word, like the upgradability piece. And that's really important because from a builder perspective, it basically removes the need to do, from a builder perspective, it allows them to build on top of a token that won't change in the future. Whereas if you were to use another version of Bridged USDC, you would have to then migrate to a future native version. So with this standard version that is upgradable, you don't have to do that migration later on. Then from an ecosystem perspective, it's really important because...
Maurizio, I want you to pause on that. I think that is super important. Like, can you just repeat that again? Because, I know that, from my position in dealing with the ecosystem community, hands-on all the time, everybody wants native to come like faster than we can deliver it. But, this is huge. So say that one more time that, you said once they deploy it, they don't have to worry about it changing. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. So from a builder perspective, and for any chain that has the Bridged USDC standard deployed, builders are able to build on top of a token that won't change in the future once we deploy native on that chain. So that provides a seamless experience for any app or builder on that ecosystem because they can do so with a solid foundation to build upon. That's extremely powerful for any chain that adopts a standard, which it's permissionless. That's one of the things that I also wanted to mention. So anyone, any chain, any L1 or 2 or 3 that's CDM compatible can deploy the Bridged USDC standard in their chain. And then from a Circle perspective, one of the things that's really important and why we wanted to have this conversation with the Arbitrum team is that we're trying to make it as easy as possible for any chain out there to deploy the standard. So we try to provide all the building blocks that chains need to make it a one-click experience type of thing to deploy the Bridged USDC standard on any chain out there. And I think one of the really cool things that we've done with the Offchain Labs team is to make that super easy for Arbitrum Orbit chains. And Spencer, if you don't mind, I'm going to tap you in to give a little bit of the details as to what we've done here to make it super easy for Orbit chains to get the standard deployed on their chains.
Yeah, definitely. So Circle provided really in-depth documentation that was super helpful for the Bridged USDC standard. Offchain Labs took it a step further and actually made a script and made it available for all chain operators and RAS providers to legitimately one-click deploy Bridged USDC. So this makes it super easy to adopt it, but it also alleviates any potential pain points that might come up in the future when it's time to actually transfer ownership of those contracts to Circle. This is a huge unlock for Orbit in particular, just because, like I said earlier, like we're on a path toward maybe 40 Orbit chains on mainnet by the end of the year. If you go forward 5 years from now, imagine how many different bridged mutated USDC tokens would be out there if the standard was not a thing. As someone who explores tons of different chains and has explored a lot of different chains in the past, Bridged USDC Standard is definitely like a lifesaver in the grand scheme of things.
Awesome. Yeah, we're about to drop a link in the chat. I've reached out to Javi on the community side. We're going to drop that link for if you want more information on Circle Bridge USD Standard, because this is really neat stuff here. Maurizio, kind of continuing back over to you. What is the transition like? Can you talk about that? How does the process work from Bridged USDC to the native USDC? And then maybe also perhaps what is the difference? What is the difference between the Bridge USDC and native USDC? So 2 questions. You can start with transition and then maybe a little bit on the differences or vice versa. It's up to you.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with the transition, and I'll start with the best part about it, which is that from a user or application perspective, you don't have to do anything. And
oh man,
all that happens.
Say that again. You gotta do nothing. Nothing.
You gotta do nothing.
All right.
Nothing.
There we go.
So Circle and the blockchain team do it for you, and it happens under the hood, and all you get is all the benefits of having native USDC afterwards. So at a high level, how it works is 4 steps. One is Circle partners with the blockchain or the third-party team. It could be a bridge or the chain itself to pause the bridge and reconcile any type of bridging activity that has been happening on the bridge. And pausing it is important because we need to make sure that there's a fixed supply of bridged USDC at the time of the upgrade. That's extremely important to make sure everything goes as designed. Then the second piece is transferring the roles. So before the upgrade, the roles of the Bridged USDC contract are owned by the blockchain team. Those are then transitioned to Circle so that the upgrade can happen seamlessly and then that native USDC can take place. Then third is the burn of the USDC. So Bridged USDC is backed by native USDC on another chain. Arbitrum, I think, calls it parent chains. So Circle, in partnership with the partner chain, with the partner chain, would burn the native USDC on the parent chain to make sure that the Bridged USDC would now be backed by fiat in Circle's reserves. Again, all of this happens automatically. If you're a holder of Bridged USDC on that ecosystem, you don't have to do anything. Circle and the chain do it for you, and we do so in a very secure way to make sure the upgrade happens seamlessly. And from a user and application perspective, you don't have to worry about it. So this is a very complicated but extremely powerful process that unlocks a lot of utility for USDC, and kind of similar to what Spencer was talking about, the unlock that it represents for the 40 plus Orbit chains that are coming on. One of the things that we are seeing is that the number of chains is continuing to explode. We are seeing that with the RAS providers and with the likes of the Orbit chains, there's an explosion of chains because the cost of deploying chains continues to go down. So one of the things that we want to make sure is that USDC, the goodness of USDC is available to all of those chains and all those ecosystems. So with Bridged USDC Standard, and we are able to do that. And the really powerful thing is that we are constantly in conversations with new chains. One of the things that we heard was that they wanted sample implementations or easy implementations on the different stacks, including the Orbit stack, so that they could easily deploy the Bridged USDC Standard. And we partnered with the Offchain Labs team to make that implementation available for the chains. And that's one of the examples where like both Circle as well as the Offchain Labs team are listening to the ecosystem, listening to the builders, and trying to provide the best solutions available out there for developers continuing to build on top of these 2 stacks. And so Sam, I want to pause there. That was a lot. So that was the first question on the transition. And I want to now talk about the differences between Bridged and native USDC, which is also pretty important to understand. And from an issuance perspective, Bridged is issued by a third party or the bridge itself, whereas native is, of course, issued by Circle. From a reserve backing perspective, Bridged USDC is backed by native USDC on another chain. So Bridged USDC is not directly redeemable for fiat, whereas native USDC is. Native USDC is backed one-to-one by dollars or dollar equivalents in a bank account. So you can directly redeem it for fiat. That's a pretty important difference. And then the last one is that from an interoperability standpoint, Bridged USDC is not connected to CCTP, our cross-chain transfer protocol, whereas native USDC is, and you can do any type of seamless movement to the growing network of chains that we have CCTP on. So from an interop perspective, is an extremely powerful unlock to have native USDC on your chains. So I think that covers at a high level 3 main differences: who issues it, where the reserves are, and then whether you have CCTP connected or not. And of course, native USDC comes with all the bells and whistles with the power that Circle brings to a new ecosystem that we launch on.
Yes. And we have it's circle.com/bridged USDC. We'll add it also to the notes and descriptions on the YouTube channel. I've also posted it on X, so it's easy to find. Join our Discord, circle.com/Discord. And we got tons of folks that are there that can help point you in the right direction. Shout out to our incredible customer support team that is out there 24/5 to help answer. We have a ticketing system, the whole nine. But very, very good breakdown. Very good breakdown. Time has flown. We've been here for a little while. Ian, going back to you. Look, I got kind of reputation here. I need to give my folks some insights, some teases about maybe what's on the roadmap. I know we just launched programmable wallet support for transaction signing API. So love to talk about that for a little bit, and how does that and maybe any other teasers that you can provide relate to the Orbit chains?
Yeah, absolutely. So like the signing APIs on all EVM chain that we just launched just enables an easy way for developers to take advantage of our key management and signing capabilities. And it's like basically all they need to do is like provide the chain ID. So like any of the Orbit chains that they can like set up the wallet and use it to sign the transaction. It's really great for, say, for example, like people building on Orbits or like leveraging any of the rollup as a service providers. We're also talking to many of them to actually embed into their packaged offering as well. And that is that has been launched 2-3 days ago. And what's coming soon is that we are going to launch a standalone smart wallet later at the end of this year. So if you think about programmable wallet at this point, the EOA signer and the smart wallet is bundled together. So you could simply create a wallet, specify it as an SCA, smart contract account, and you can take advantage of the paymaster associated with to do the gas abstraction. But by the end of this year, we have a standalone smart wallet. We're gonna enable. You may have heard our announcement a few weeks back on modules. So the concept of modules is that it's taking advantage of the ERC 6900 standard that's co-authored by Circle, Alchemy, and then a few others in the Ethereum developer community. And it enables you to take advantage of these smart contract that you can plug into your wallet and enable capabilities like passkeys, say for example session keys, spending limit, time lock, and a lot of different things. And by embracing a common standard, like our wallet, is able to take advantage of the developer community's innovations and integrate into some of these capabilities directly into our wallet, and that would be available on our Arbitrum one as well. So that's coming soon at the end of the year, and I think that's a release I'm pretty excited about.
Whew. I love it. Look. This has been a lot of fun. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's come on and hung out with us across different parts of the world. I see over about 3,700 are live here with us. Look, I really want to thank each of you here, Ian, Spencer, Maurizio, for the time that you spent hopping on. I know it's early, late, depending on where you all located. To everybody, please. Make sure to follow us, follow the community. We'll make sure to give you all the links and insights that you need so you can start building with Arbitrum. Orbit everybody out here. Check out the USDC Bridge Standard that Maurizio was talking about. I think that's going to be really huge for a lot of folks out there. Any closing remarks from Spencer, Ian, Maurizio before we sign off? No. No.
Well, try it out. Like build with us. Reach out. We have a Discord server. When you're here to answer any question you have, and yeah, like we're actively listening for feedback. So let us know what you like to see us support. And yeah, we have a suite of tools available for you to easily build on Arbitrum. So yeah, try it out. Let us know if you have any feedback.
For sure. Shout out to all the Orbit Chain builders. Join our Discord. We want to hear from you. Find out what you're doing, what you're building. I'm just really excited for everything that is going on. So I mean, it looks like I'm looking at questions, see if anything else in here that we may be missing. I'm not seeing anything. Looks like we're pretty much going to be good to go. So thanks for everybody for hanging in there. You folks hang on for a little while. Want to chat with you before you all sign off. We plan on doing more of these. We got some more live streams, some more live workshops coming out later this week. I'm trying to get one in with the BlockFlow team as early as Wednesday if I can. So be on the lookout for those as well. Everybody, good night, good morning.